Clark Lea, UCLA Linebacker coach. It's been too long. It's been too long. I miss you.
Absolutely.
Coach, before we get into really, depth chart kind of stuff, which we'll get into, there just seems to be a different energy this year. And I'm not putting anything on Coach Bull. I'm not putting anything on, the guys who are gone. But there just seems to be a different level now. Does it start with the expectations? Does it start at the top when you guys say, this is what we need to see from you every single day?
Yeah, I think the message has been pretty consistent in that regard. I want to give the credit to the kids because we got a great group, and not to say anything about anybody who's graduated and left, but because they certainly all worked hard and were committed to this program. But these guys are 1 year older, the leadership's pulled together, and I think it starts with them every day. I mean, I can come out here and run around and yell and scream all you want. That only goes so far.
Yeah.
But I found myself doing less of that and more of kind of having fun watching the guys come out and enjoy practice.
Is there one time, it's only been a couple, 8 practices now. Has there been that kind of, we'll call it a light bulb moment, that time when you say, God, these kids are, they're getting to where we want them to be. They're not there yet, I know.
Yeah, I think like a day like today, coming off a scrimmage on the front end of a long week, you find out a lot about what the fabric is of your players. And I obviously just deal with the linebackers.
Yeah.
So what I saw today was there wasn't the instinct to come out and just get by or just survive the day. They came out to get better, and from start to finish, they worked hard.
Yeah.
And obviously, there are good plays and bad plays, but they've done a fantastic job, and that is a credit to them. It's a credit to young and old. Certainly, I think guys like Sean Westgate, and even Patrick Larimore and Glenn Love, in my group. If Glenn Love's going to come in here and do everything the right way, then a guy like Aaron Wallace can't help but follow suit, and that's what I think I see kind of taking hold here.
People ask me, a lot of fans talk to me about this team and what does this team need? What's it missing and all this kind of stuff. And in my opinion, I always just say culture. I say it's missing that kind of culture that you see at other programs that not only demands excellence from the top down, but from the bottom up. And, in terms of that, in terms of what you're seeing these guys do day in and day out, how does that change? What's the first thing that changes in that regard?
Well, it just comes down to a mindset. I think in a lot of ways, if you look at each kid individually, you say, okay, how important is football to him? And not just that, in all honesty, but how is it important it is to him to get to his highest level and whatever he's doing. And so what you find is as that culture changes, you do less chasing guys to class. You do less motivating in the weight room. You do less hollering and screaming on the field because you're all on the same page about where this thing needs to head. Yeah. And I do think we're seeing that. I mean, I think, and coaches now been here, this will be his 4th year. He's got his guys that he's recruited, and they've bought into it. And finally, the guys that he brought in here to change things have that leadership platform, and they're taking hold of that and doing a great job. So, to me, it's that championship mindset. And can you come out here and craft a championship practice every day? When you wake up in the morning, your feet hit the ground. Are you gonna win in the classroom too? Yeah. That's the kind of thing that I look at.
What you're almost saying is this isn't about football. This is about teaching men, young men to be men. Has that been? I'm not going to say has that been an issue or anything like that. But what are the little things that like you said, not getting on a specific kid to get to go to class or anything? How quickly can that change happen? And where does we talked about where it starts, but what do you need to see to know? Okay, it is happening.
Well, I think it changes. I mean, the change has to occur in your leadership. And when you're not having to beg the leaders to work, you then can transition your focus onto the guys that really need that attention. And I think we've gotten that. I mean, again, I don't concern myself. Everybody's held to the same standard, so no one's treated differently. And I think Coach Tracy's done a great job with that too. There's no job safe, and we're all working towards the same goals. But certainly, I look to Sean Westgate now, not just to take care of himself, but also to look over there and take care of Eric Kendricks and Ryan Hoffmeister and make sure those guys are in the right place. And you're starting to see that accountability from within.